Here's the third one. Look at Ezekiel 36 and verse 8. They would reblossom a desolate desert land to produce abundant food, fruit, and foliage. Do you know who the chief supplier of citrus fruit and flowers are to the continent of Europe? Israel. They have multi-billion-dollar fruit and flower business, not ground wheat flour, blooming, fragrant flour, to Europe. To the place they were in the ovens, they shipped back the miracle of what they got. And this is what it says in Ezekiel 36:8. But you, O mountains of Israel, you will shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they are about to come. Verse 9, for indeed I am for you, I will turn you, and you shall be tilled and sown. Look at verse 30 of the 36th chapter. I will multiply the fruit of your trees. Verse 33, your ruins shall be built. Verse 34, the desolate land shall be tilled. Verse 35, the land that was desolate will become like the Garden of Eden. Now let me ask you, just like the Israelites will return to their own nation, do you think Russia sat down and tried to fulfill the Bible? No. Do you think the settlers tried to rename their ruins after names of the Bible because they were reading the Bible? No, it's because they were reconnecting with their past heritage culturally as Jews. Number 3, do you think the agricultural engineers decided they would leave their posts all over the world and take their wisdom to that parched desert, desolate land? Do you think they went there to fulfill the Bible? No. No, they went there because God wanted to do what He promised and turned Israel from a wasteland condition to make His promises in Ezekiel come true. And they are. It's one of the most beautiful agricultural areas in the world. Here's the last one. Look at Ezekiel 37:10. And we'll close with this. Promise number 4. Promise number 1, they would return after centuries in exile. They have. Promise number 2, they would rebuild the ancient cities from the Bible. They have. Promise number 3, they would reblossom the desolate desert lands and produce not just enough to eke by, but abundant food, fruit, and foliage. And they have. But here's the one that's most astounding. Ezekiel 37:10. So I prophesied as He commanded me. This is Ezekiel writing 2,600 years ago. And breath came into them. That's the nation of Israel returning back to their land. And they lived, and they stood on their feet. And look how he describes this returned nation of Israel. An exceeding great army. In fact, chapter 38 and 39 talk about the military confrontation, and that's yet future. Do you think the atomic scientists and the military weapons engineers and the businessmen that listened to them all wanted to fulfill Ezekiel? Do you think that when Israel became, in this process, the third or fourth most powerful military in the world with atomic weaponry factored in, that God just happened for that to happen? Or was God watching over His word? God promised 2,600 years ago that not only would Israel come back to the land, name the cities, grow the flowers and plants, but He said they would become an exceedingly great military. And they are. And they've developed stuff that is unbelievably sophisticated, that everyone else in the world buys from them. And you can just read about it if you want in their newspapers. I mean, they have this neat little thing, and they hold it in their hand, and the soldier goes like this, and it can fly in through windows and, fly around inside buildings and fly behind walls and go through tunnels. And the whole time he's watching it. And do you know where America is buying their UAV stuff that they're using so much in Iraq and in Afghanistan? They're buying it from the IAI, the Israel Aerospace Industry. Now, we make a lot of it ourselves, but they're always one step ahead of us. Why? Because God said they're going to become an exceeding great army. God is watching over His word. He will bring to pass what He foretold. But the question is, so what for our lives? Well, as you read your Bible this week, remember this. The same God that says, I'm going to bring Israel back, just like I promised, is the same God that says, if you seek me, you'll find me. If you seek with all your heart. These are unbelievable days to live and listen to the voice of God.